Hey guys, what it do? It's your boy Supreme Uchiha the God, and this time we are talking about the one, the only Iten, aka the hardcore leveling warrior, him self. Man, I love Iten, bro. If we talk about just anime, manga, um, shonen jump protagonist, right? I don't say he's a cut above the rest, but he's one of the most unique. Normally you get a very limited range of the type of character, right? So obviously, one of the first fresh characters we got was the Superman troll or archetype, um, in One Punch Man, Saitama, who it's normally you have the opposite trajectory where the character is really weak and trying to be the strongest, right? And that's the goal. But this time we have a character who is, in terms of Saitama, somebody who's already the strongest in the whole world, and he's just trying to be recognized as being the strongest in the whole world, and it doesn't really bother him that much that he's not even recognized for it. He's not even that driven, right? And then you have somebody like Iten in Hardcore 11 Warrior, who starts with a similar trajectory, but he is driven. He is extremely cocky. He's aware of how powerful he is, and he wants you to know how powerful he is. He wants you to be afraid of him. He is an absolute a-hole, right? Asshole, whatever. He's a douche bag of the highest degree at the start of the story. But you still kind of want to root for him, because the guy got tricked, man. He worked his ass off to reach the top, and he's balling out in a penthouse, and then within a day his whole life just turns upside down. And his auntie said you can move in the basement down below. And he did. He got moved to the basement. His life became ass, bro. You know what I'm saying? And really there's a few stages of Iten, right? There's the pre-strong Iten, aka pre-strong Iten, strong Iten with arms, and then strong Iten without arms, and then Dark Iten, right? And called Dark Iten because he's heavily influenced by Dark. Even though it's not super obvious and super clear, I think the influence is definitely there. He decides to take responsibility for his own life, and also doesn't blame everybody else for his downfalls, right? Before he saw rich people as just disgusting people that just cheat their way to the top, while hard-working people, like the hardcore leveling warrior, you get the synopsis here. The author kind of put it in our noses here. Was really on the nose with it. But basically, the essential aspect of that is like, look, I worked hard to become the strongest character in the game. Everybody paid a ton like I worked hard to get the money to pay for the best items and to level up and to beat the best opponents and to do everything. All hard work, right? It's basically pay to play versus pure talent and hard work, right? If you look at like a lot of RPG games, or a lot of video games, even like Dauntless, whatever, it's basically if you have money, you be balling off the park, because you can skip a lot of the in-game blockers for you to reach the highest peak. But if you have money, you can I'm gonna just buy this armor, I'm gonna just buy that, I'm gonna just buy this weapon, I'm gonna just buy that. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna just have this loot, I'm gonna just get that. And that's, basically what Iten represents, the opposite of that. He's like, he reaches the pinnacle level without any of that. You know what I'm saying? Well, I don't want to say any of that, considering he did gamble a lot in real life, and that's kind of what got him in trouble. But in game, he was a god. You know what I'm saying? And to go from a god, imagine Superman going from Superman in a day to just a regular Joe, bro. You know what I'm saying? Excuse me. Although I feel like Superman would handle that shit really well, simply because he kind of prefers to be a regular Joe. But Eden isn't that type of person. He's an asshole. You know what I'm saying? And I love that about him, because I'm sick of these black and white Shonen Jump characters that are so righteous and so fucking uptight and up their own a-hole. Like, just think of the audacity of Naruto to think that he can force somebody to change by any means necessary. Like, literally by any means necessary. He was like, I would break every bone in your body and drag you home so that you can believe in what I believe. Sounds like Hitler to me. Right? Hey, I'm just saying, bro. If you really look at it, a lot of our main protagonists are a little bit fascist. Yo, they crazy, bro. I don't know too much about Luffy, so I don't want to drag Luffy into this. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to drag Luffy into this. If you look at somebody like Sasuke, for example, right? Sasuke only cares about what is to do with himself. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't want to drag anybody into anything that they don't want to join him into. Naruto wants to drag everybody into what he wants to happen. You know what I'm saying? Iton also isn't like that. He kind of he has his own goals and he wants to do that. If he has to take you out of the way, out of the picture in order to achieve that, that's different because you're in opposition. You the op. And he gonna clean you with that mop. Shout out to Iton, bro. But one of the key interesting aspects, just jokes aside and shit, one of the key interesting aspects about Iton is his love for arms, man. He fell in love with a video game character essentially. Well, obviously was a girl in real life as well, but he never or at least it's not shown that they ever met in real life or talked in real life. But he obviously fell in love with her regardless and wanted to start dating her. So maybe they were supposed to meet up in real life and it just never happened because she died of terminal illness, and she avoided them meeting up in real life because she knew she was dying of terminal illness and she was in a hospital bed all the time anyway. And she didn't feel like it'd be right for her to give him a relationship that was ultimately going to end within any time, really. You know what I'm saying? And she felt that would be an unnecessary heartbreak to add to the heartbreak of already losing her, right? Which I admire. I admire that kind of foresight by her and the thought process behind that. It's very realistic. A lot of the actions and the motivations of the characters in Hardcore Leveling Warrior is very, very grounded. Despite the insanely magical and unrealistic way that the whole thing, the premise of the world is, you know what I'm saying? It's like majestic it is. I don't want to say unrealistic. Maybe as majestic as the world is, everything is pretty grounded, at least in terms of motivation and character reasoning. You know what I'm saying? These niggas make sense when they make decisions. Unlike in a lot of stuff where you like, why would you do that? Oh, why would anyone say that? I mean, I get that some people are stupid and would do that and say that, but like, come on. How many dumb people are in this goddamn show? You know what I mean? It does a really good job of giving really smart characters. Like, he writes a lot of smart people, especially people in that high power, and especially people in high rankings. Like, they shouldn't be that stupid, right? I mean, how the fuck did they make it all the way up there if they were? And yeah, I suppose back to I should really focus more about Iton. But in terms of Iton, I do love the development of him. Just how he goes from being super selfish and super up his own ass, to realizing that even without arms, because essentially he stopped having friends or following anybody because of arms, because he felt like everybody just forgot about arms, even though, Swordsman eventually tells him like, yo, dude, like, stop being in denial. She's dead. She was terminally ill. She's not around. Stop chasing this ghost. And that's why even his challenge for the dragon of darkness was to basically let go of arms. You know what I'm saying? And he was like, because the challenge was like, are you going to stay here with me? Just the two of us. And he was like, I can't do that. I have to be with them. You come with us. You know what I'm saying? And that was the key. And he finally accepted having a team in Sora and Dark and Heart Eater. I always say Eater for some goddamn reason. So that's one thing that I really enjoy about the development of his character, and just the nuances in it. You know what I'm saying? Even we see how ridiculously overpowered he was when he was at his peak, and you're like, Jesus, no wonder this guy was a fucking asshole. No wonder he thought he could fucking rule the world. If you're that fucking powerful, like, god damn. You know what I'm saying? And he destroyed the pay to play characters. You know what I'm saying? He absolutely annihilated them. Even when they got the extra bonus boost, he was just way too powerful. And he was like, holy shit. I can kind of also understand why Eve, the video game thingy, wanted to murk him, because he was becoming way too powerful. He was essentially reaching god levels without quite being a god. You know what I'm saying? Just by hacking the game so fucking well and just being so brilliant at what he does. And that also kind of, it makes you think. You know what I'm saying? Really makes you think. If he stayed number one, how would everything be? I don't think he would have learned his lesson. I don't think he would have fixed or began the work of fixing his real life situation. One thing about season one, obviously, I wish that they kind of focused a little more on his real life situation as when he was successful, because they only kind of gave us the intro where he's living a big massive penthouse, but we never really saw his relationships or what he did outside of, you know, doing lucid dreaming. But it's kind of also maybe a hint at how we see celebrities. Just because they have this big massive mansion doesn't mean they love life. They love the idea of it and they love the fame and all that shit, but they don't really do anything but that. You know what I'm saying? It's like Ethan wasn't living life. He was living lucid adventure. That's it. You know what I'm saying? He had this massive big penthouse where he can eat and do whatever, but he did nothing. He didn't go outside. He couldn't go outside because he's essentially a prisoner, right? But he couldn't do anything. He was essentially just a lucid adventure player, just playing lucid adventures with fancy things around him, which kind of makes me feel like me right now. God damn, I'm in my room 24/7 working. Sheesh. But hey, fuck it, you know what I mean? That's the fruits of success, you know what I'm saying? That's what you gotta do to succeed, I suppose. And it really gives a very grounded and real life kind of feel to it. It's like, god damn, like this motherfucker really just out here lucid adventuring 24/7. Well, that's why he's number one and you're not. You know, and meeting Dark and having Dark's goal and kind of reminded him, I think, of his role. And I think that's probably one of the key reasons why Dark was able to have such an influence on him, because Dark is just phenomenal at influencing people in general. That's why he owns Darkland now. People just follow this nigga because he speaks and niggas are like, damn, bro, right, shit, man, right, you right. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna do a video on Yopi because, man, Yopi is one of the most interesting goddamn characters in this. But yeah, so if you think about that as well, when he meets Dark has a similar goal to him in terms of like, Dark would not stop looking for his granddad the same way Ethan would not stop looking for Arms and would not stop seeing Arms within everybody, which is, I think, an essential little connection between them. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, you know, hardcore leveling warrior, you know, hard work and ethics, you know. So I do love Ethan. Shout out to Ethan. I love hardcore leveling warrior. I might do a video on Arms and Ethan, like solo, like on how essentially it impacts him and his character, and you know, maybe how letting him go in further detail, how letting her go freed him. You know what I'm saying? Freed him. Instead of him seeing Dark and Zero and everybody. I don't think it's Zero, but I just can't remember her name. But he started seeing it, Zero's daughter, sorry, and he started living. You know what I'm saying? That's why he escaped, and that's why he went back to save the girl, and that's why even we find out that when they got thrown off the boat in a barrel, he jumped out and saved the girl regardless. He could have just jumped out and not expand his energy and try to swim to shore, but he made sure to save her again because he realized, you know what? People are worth saving and life is worth living. And I think that's probably the ultimate lesson of Hardcore Leveling Warrior. That yes, even though this thing that you're doing or you're pursuing is super important, don't forget to live life. And Ethan did until he met Dark and he realized, wow, even the rich have problems. Being successful isn't going to solve all your problems. It may help though. It's been your boy Super Mature to God. Make sure to like, leave a comment or dislike, whatever you feel on. Let's have a conversation, have a discourse. Let me know who I should talk about next. I'm thinking of doing Yopi, King Yopi or Yopi. I don't know. See, people, that's the thing with reading. You never know how to pronounce these motherfucking names, bro. But hey, I'm out.